From the studios at WWAY, it's the CB McGrath Show. The CB McGrath Show is brought to you by your Carolina Ford dealers, Papa John's, AARP, Reed's Jewelers, Molly Maid, and Harris Teeter. And now, here's your host, Mike Vaccaro.
Good morning. Welcome, everybody, once again here for the CB McGrath TV show. I am Mike Vaccaro alongside the coach, CB McGrath, first-year head coach of the Seahawks. Talking Seahawk basketball here. What game to recap this week? Just the game at East Carolina. We'll talk about that, and then we'll look ahead to some more basketball coming up after the exam break for UNCW. But, Coach, let's dive into this matchup with the Pirates here. And as we talked about last week, kind of a unique situation because you had an exhibition match with them as you did in Chapel Hill, but a much different game. That was only 13 minutes in Chapel Hill. Full 45 minutes here with the overtime period. But, you know, early on, these teams scored a lot of points, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and obviously it was an unusual situation because we did have the 13-minute scrimmage, and, you know, basketball's a game of ebbs and flows, and, you know, you're going to go on runs, and so you can't take that for what it's worth. But, and then all of a sudden, Coach Lebo resigns the night before we play, and so, you know, there was a lot of variables mixed in there, and ECU came out a little slow. Obviously, we got on a nice run there and took a big lead, but then they really got going, and it was hard for us to slow them down. And then obviously, you know, overtime game comes down to one possession a lot of times, and they executed that one possession better than we did. Yeah,
certainly a true rivalry type of feel to this game, and when you look at it from a UNCW perspective, Devontae Kaycock, what led you to think that he could have maybe a game like that in the matchups that he had against some taller guys that East Carolina has?
Yeah, you know, every game we go in, we want to get the ball to Devontae, and I don't think that's any secret. He's got a lot of tools, and he's really strong, and he's great at ducking in, all those kind of things. The two practices leading up to the game, he just showed a lot more aggressiveness offensively than he had, and I don't know if that because he's feeling good, you know, his body's feeling better. You never know. But we started feeding him to him early, and he was scoring and called about every play we had in the playbook to give him the ball, you know, because when you start calling something in a game, they start knowing what it is, and they start playing certain plays. And so, needless to say, we have a few plays for Devontae, and so we used them all.
Yeah, certainly used them all. The guys fed him well. He had a big game. The Seahawks, an entertaining game with East Carolina. This was Thursday night in Greenville. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Here's our Harris Teeter highlights. Well, a high-scoring first half for both these teams, 48-42. That was the score at the break. You see the rebounds about even, but both teams shooting 56% for the Seahawks, 53% for East Carolina. So, again, Coach, this is a high-level offensive first half. Was it the offenses ahead of the defenses here in that first frame?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think that the teams were getting the ball where they wanted to. You look at our assists, we had 13 assists in the first half. We had 9 turnovers, which is too many. And they only had 5 assists. They're more of a one-on-one guard-oriented, drive it to the basket. And they were a little bigger than we were, and you know, they made their shots. Us on offense, we were running our stuff and getting it to Devontae and taking good shots for the most part in the first half. And so that's why the percentages were so great, and that's why that score was 48-42. And you know, the key at the very end of the half, I don't think we saw it, was Marcus got the rebound like 3 seconds left. They tipped it out of his hands, and Jackie tried to save it and stepped out, and they get right there in front of our bench and score to make it a 6-point game. So it was a little momentum swing right at the end of the half.
Yeah, definitely momentum for the Pirates going into the locker room. We'll take a break here. When we get back, we'll take a look at the second half and overtime highlights again from Minges Coliseum in Greenville. The Seahawks on the road at East Carolina. Those highlights next. Well, once again, the lone game this week for UNCW on the road at East Carolina Thursday night. Halftime, 48-42 was the score there. So, Coach, I'm sure both teams in the locker room were talking about the defense. What else were you stressing at halftime to your kids? Because it seemed like, certainly on the defensive side, the effort a lot better in that second half.
Yeah, I mean, I just told them they're going to have to sit down and guard somebody. You know, the screens weren't really affecting us. They were just direct driving us. And that's you know, I asked them the day before in practice, I said, can you guard, you know, Ty, can you guard Jaquel? Yes, one-on-one I can. You know, Devontae, can you guard Ty? Yes. Tally said he can guard anybody on our team. You know, so these kind of things, I said, well, let's start doing that in games. Like, accept the challenge. They're just isolating you guys. They're trying to drive you. And so I think some of the guys sort of stepped up, made them shoot tougher shots in the second half. And then offensively, I wanted to focus on, we had 9 turnovers, and to cut that down. You know, I liked our 13 assist number, and we did cut it down a little bit, and I think a few of those in the second half were actually in the overtime period. So in the second half, we did a nice job of actually getting shots.
Yeah, certainly the focus at halftime, things certainly worked out a lot better in that second half. The Seahawks able to force that extra period, and an exciting finish here from Greenville. Let's take a look now at the second half and overtime highlights. Here's our Reed's Jewelers highlights. Well, shots like that helped the ECU get this win in overtime. 93-88 the final score. The Seahawks on the boards, better than the Pirates there. How about the assists? A season high 27 assists for UNCW. So some really good numbers here. Coach, tough setback here when you look at the performance you got from Devontae Kaycock. 35 points, tied for the 4th highest total for a Seahawk in school history. A lot of things working out well for you guys, but just 4 points short in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough loss, and you know, those things happen, and you just got to learn from them. And like I told him after the game, it's just one bad possession that costs you an overtime game because it's a tie going into overtime, right? And so it comes down to one possession. It could be a bad call by the coach, could be a bad defensive possession, could be a bad offensive possession. You don't know what's going to happen, you know. So it's on UNCW, and we got to correct a few things and just keep getting better. You know, offensively, yeah, 27 assists is terrific. That means we're playing great, unselfish team basketball, and we're getting the shots where we want to get them. Defensively, they're still shooting too high a field goal percentage. Yeah. We're giving up too many easy ones. We're making them shoot some tough shots, and the teams are making some tough shots, but obviously we're giving up too many easy ones to have that percentage go up.
And both teams really driving the ball, feeding the ball inside. Points in the paint were big. The Seahawks had 48, East Carolina 50. So a lot of those points coming inside. You saw a lot of them from Devontae Kaycock as well. So that's the game on Thursday. We'll take a break here. When we get back, it's our player profile segment. And one of the sophomores, Matt Elmore, out injured right now, but still a guy who maybe comes back late in the season, could be a factor for UNCW. We'll have his profile coming up next. Well, we're still in the sophomore class with our player profiles, and this week it is Matt Elmore. Coach, unfortunately, out injured currently here, and he's a guy I know you are very high on coming into this season. He lost some weight during the offseason, and according to you, in practice and preparation for the season, he was playing some good basketball.
He really was, and he worked really hard in the offseason to get into shape. And with our practice sessions and our individual work, we loved his ability to shoot the ball, his touch. He's got great touch, and, you know, it would have been a nice compliment for Devontae because our games are so different. But, you know, he hurt his knee, I think before our first scrimmage, and just, you know, it was bothering him, and eventually had surgery a few weeks ago, and, you know, he's out for an extended period of time.
Yeah, so we'll see if he makes it back this season, but here is Dustin Dorsey now giving us our AARP player profile on Matt Elmore.
Matt Elmore is now in the second year with the team, but he hasn't been able to start this season due to a knee injury. But that doesn't stop him from still trying to help his team however he can.
Just try to be a leader on and off the court, you know, for the freshmen coming in, new guys coming in, showing them since I was here last year kind of like what to do.
I'd say the freshmen need to listen to what Elmore has to say. After all, he got himself a ring after just 1 year with the team. Winning that early creates lessons that everyone returning can use.
It shows you what it takes to be a champion from last year, and it shows you how much hard work you actually have to put in.
As Elmore looks to help the younger players, he remembers the guys that helped teach him the ropes as he developed through his freshman season.
Definitely Devontae and probably Chuck. Chuck might not have played a lot, but he definitely took me under his wing, helped me learn the ropes for college basketball.
This year, he knows what it's like to play college basketball, but it's the new staff working to elevate his game, especially Coach Joe Wolf.
As much knowledge as he has and as much experience as he has, it's crazy to be able to work with a guy that's been in the league for 13 years and coached NBA players. This new staff, they've definitely made it easy. They've came in and just built a relationship right away with everyone.
Coach McGrath says Elmore is in no rush to return this season as he wants what's best for him. But when he returns, Coach has high expectations for the stretch forward, something Elmore loves to hear.
This builds my confidence up. Just knowing that I'm going to get a chance to show people what I can do, get on the floor, help my teammates out, just means a lot.
Growing up in Jacksonville, so close to UNCW, Elmore always has the support of his family. And once he gets the chance to get back on the court, he knows he'll have the support of his coaches, his team, and the best fans in North Carolina.
Everyone's behind us, really, just no matter what. They're always going to support us, give us the biggest effort they can. But it's unbelievable, just the amount of support and love we have from the whole school and the fans is great.
I'm Dustin Dorsey, and you're watching the CB-McGrath Show.
Back now, time for this week's Play of the Week. We go back to Thursday in Greenville, and what a game for Devontae Kaycock. He and Jordan Talley hooking up, providing us this week's Play of the Week. One of the 27 team assists right there, and on the other end, Devontae Kaycock doing a great job beating the defense down the court as he did on a number of occasions, providing us our Play of the Week. Well, we stick with the junior Devontae Kaycock. Time now for the Molly May Glass Cleaner of the Week, and not only the 35 points, but good on the glass with 12 rebounds here, 3 on the offensive end, 9 defensive rebound. Coach's 5th double-double in 6 games so far, and right now he leads the country in assists, averaging 13 a game.
Yeah, he's had a great start of his season. The only game he didn't have a double-double, he played 14 minutes because of foul trouble. So he probably, if he would see that foul trouble that game, would have double-double in every game. But I do like hearing that he's leading the nation in rebounding, because that is one thing that he does. And I told him yesterday, the most impressive thing of all the things he did in that game, he had 3 assists and no turnovers. So as much as we gave him the ball, as much as he was trying to do, he didn't turn the ball over one time. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, really, again, taking it to the opponents this season. Have an outstanding junior campaign. This week's Molly May Glass Cleaner of the Week, Devontae Kaycock, the junior from Riverdale, Georgia. Well, we'll stick with Kaycock here. It's a Kaycock block right now, because now it's time for our Carolina 4 Player of the Week, and you can't deny the numbers that he put up, not just the rebounds, but the 35 points, 12 rebounds, as Coach just mentioned, the 3 assists, no turnovers, 37 minutes, Coach, of a possible 45 minutes. So you see those numbers, you keep him out of foul trouble, or he stays out of foul trouble himself, and he can continue to put up big numbers like that.
Yeah, I love seeing 37 minutes. He's in shape to do it, but as long as he stays out of foul trouble, like you said, he'll be out there on the court and helping the Seahawks hopefully get some more victories. I
know, watching a lot of Carolina games through the years, when a player puts up his fist, he wants to come out. I don't think I've ever seen Kaycock put his fist up to want to come out of a game. Have you?
Yeah, no, and kids used to do that. Now nobody ever wants to come out of the game. They don't put their fists up anymore like they used to, and we haven't even talked about it because we can tell when they're getting tired. We see them getting tired more than they think they're tired.
Well, this guy seems like he never gets tired, running the floor, making plays on both ends, and doing a great job. Again, this week's Carolina 4 Player of the Week with a career-high 35 points. Again, it ties the school record for the 4th best scoring day for a Seahawk. 39 points, the school record. Brian Rowson has that, and who knows, maybe that's on the horizon here for Kaycock with the season he's putting together this year. Again, our Carolina 4 Player of the Week. We'll take a break here. It's exam break for the Seahawks, but on the other end, some big games coming up on the road for UNCW. We'll talk about those next. Well, UNCW, the entire campus in the exam break right now. So, Coach, for you guys, you won't play again until next Sunday. What does this week look like for you, the coaching staff, and the team as well? What are you able to do on the floor, maybe as a team this week, with exams taking center stage?
Yeah, I mean, we'll do a few things. Obviously, just wanted to get them in the gym. It might be a little break from their study, because you can't study 24 hours a day, you know, but it is a huge week, finals week. We all remember being in college. It's never easy, a lot of stress with those tests and papers they have to do, and so we want to make sure that we're not taking up too much of their time, or they don't leave the gym so tired they have to take a nap and those kind of things. Because it's an important week for us. We got to, you know, tighten up some of our sets, tighten up some of our motion offense, but definitely work on our defense and more conceptual and mental than anything, because they know how to defend. They're athletic enough to defend and to stop the direct drives that are hurting us, and we just need to make sure we keep reiterating the things that we are stressing as the most important thing.
So the exams, some practice, and then after that is back on the court. Let's take a look at this week's schedule delivered by Papa John's. A week from today, no show for us because the Seahawks on the road at LSU. They'll be in Baton Rouge. We'll have that game. It'll start at 5 o'clock, and then next Wednesday, December 13th at UNC Greensboro, another unique second matchup, if you will, because the Seahawks had that exhibition with them in Chapel Hill. But you know, LSU first-year head coach and Will Wade, he comes from VCU, was on Shaka Smart's staff there, VCU in the Final Four. So I would think the defense, you've got to deal with that. But how does a game like that come about? Again, I know you were up against it, kind of putting a schedule together. How does a game like that come about with LSU?
Yeah, we needed to get some guarantee money, and we're trying to find some opponents that needed games too. And sometimes when there is a coaching change, some of those teams need to find people to play also. And so it just worked out for both of us, and the timing was good. It was after finals are over, so we can get on a plane and get down there. You know, but Will Wade's done a nice job this year. He got some recruits late. Tremont Waters, who probably is leading him in scoring. I know he's had a couple huge games. I recruited him when I was an assistant at Carolina, so I know a little bit about Tremont, know his ability, and they are obviously very good, and we got a lot of work to do.
Again, that's next Sunday, 5 o'clock, 4:45 our airtime. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks. Appreciate you joining us here today. Have a great day, everybody.
The CB McGrath Show is brought to you by your Carolina Ford dealers, Papa John's, AARP, Reed's Jewelers, Molly Maid, and Harris Teeter.